Hey guys, welcome to yet another Harry Potter tutorial, this time in cute kawaii form. I'm starting with an 8-inch round already ganached and covered in white paste. All the steps to get to this point are tutorials on my channel, and I'll leave the links in the iCard and the description box. In your airbrush gun, mix some green chroma colour with a tiny bit of black to make a dark green. All the equipment and colours I use are in the description box. Cover the whole top of the cake, building up the colour deeper gradually. To refrain from spraying the sides, spray towards the back of the cake so you're spraying off the edge. For your template, rip a piece of A4 paper in half randomly in hump shapes. You can use both halves. Hold the bumps to the bottom of the cake and follow the line with the blue airbrush colour. You can pin the template in place if you find it easier. Make your way around the cake and do a few layers of the mist effect. Then overspray your work and halfway up in a gentle mist of blue to fill in the white areas. Next, switch your colour out for purple and continue with the effect up to the top. Again, fill in the white areas with a gentle mist. You can also add a tiny bit of pink to the top if you like. With black, spray all around the base and then draw in some shallow humps by holding the gun closer to the surface. Keeping the gun quite close, draw some lines from the bottom to the top. They don't have to be perfect and straight as they are just background trees. Keep an opening at the front of the cake to put the name on. Add in some extra branches to fill in the open space. Cover the board in dark green paste using the toilet seat method. You've seen me do this lots and I have a full tutorial on it linked above. Once covered, run your Dresden tool over it, waving it from left to right to create a wiggled texture. Trim the overhang from the board. Add some Tylose powder to your white paste and roll it out. The powder will help the paste keep its shape. I roll it out so far and then pass it through the pasta machine. Love that thing. Trace your name out onto greaseproof paper. You can find lots of Harry Potter style fonts online, such as this one from dafont.com. Lay your paper over the paste and use your Dresden tool to mark an impression. Then follow that impression carefully with a scalpel. This cutting mat comes in handy for lining up your letters straight. Take another piece of greaseproof paper that will fit over your lettering and some Trex. This is a UK brand for veg fat. In America it's called Crisco. Rub some of this all over your paper. Then turn it over and stick the shiny side to your lettering, patting them to help them adhere fully. Wiggle your paper to make sure all your letters move with it. Then gently flip it over. Dampen the back of the letters with water. Hold up your paper where you want to place the text and press it against the cake. Tap each bit of the lettering to stick it down. Then pull away your paper. In this pot I have some metallic gold luster. This one is my absolute favourite for the best coverage, but it's not edible. It's just classed as non-toxic, but the pieces are easily removable. Always inform your customers of inedible parts or supports. This is best mixed with lemon extract to turn it into a paint. You've seen me do these trees lots of times if you're a regular viewer. Just roll some dark brown paste into a pointed sausage and attach it to the cake with water, snaking the branch upwards. A smaller sausage can be blended on for another branch and texture it all with a Dresden tool. Continue making trees all around the back. For the backboard I'm using foam core, my favourite stuff. As you can see, I've cut circles previously for other projects. I'm using an 8-inch drum as a template to create a backboard with a flat base. Cut out your circle using a good sharp scalpel. The board I have is 5mm thick. For your supports, you'll need some kebab sticks. Luckily, foam core lives up to its name. It's foam on the inside, so you can slide kebab sticks in easily. 3 sticks, 1 in the centre and 2 either side, with the lengths kept as long as possible, should be nice and sturdy. Dampen the surface of the board with water and spread piping gel along the foam. Water isn't the best at sticking the open edges. Cover the circle with white paste and press around the edges. Cut off some of the excess to make it easier to handle. Turn the board upside down and lay it on a foam mat so you don't mess up the finish. Trim off the overhang with a scalpel. You can of course choose to decorate the back too if you like. I often do when it's a 360 view design. But just remember, if it is a design mainly viewed from the front, the extra material and the time to decorate the back will be passed on to the customer. So it's not always worth it. Lay your board onto some paper and airbrush the edges in purple. Using some more paper templates, create the misty sky effect in purple. Then overlay some blue mist coming from the bottom. Add some Tylo powder to black paste. Trust me, you'll regret skipping this step. Black is super sticky and stretchy, so be generous with the Tylo so you can cut shapes from it. I just traced an outline onto paper by taping it to my monitor. There's lots of views and angles, so choose your favourite. Same as the name, follow the outline with the Dresden tool and then cut it out with a scalpel. Once it's all cut out and easy enough to lift, transfer it onto your backing board. Get it into position and then lift up parts of the cutout and add water underneath. You want to try and avoid placing water where you'll be cutting out windows or arches. Trim off the overhangs and cut out any pieces you want, such as the bridge and windows. You can skip this step and just paint them on if you prefer. For white paint, I use Rainbow Dust Snowdrift powder, which I just mix with water. Again, all products are in the description box. Using the same picture you traced from for the reference, draw in the windows. For extra detail, such as smaller towers to the front of Hogwarts, just sketch them in with thin strokes of the paintbrush. For the rocks at the front, cut out a hill shape from thin black paste. Add this into place and cut it to the desired size and shape. Texture it with the Dresden tool and add in some more where you see fit before painting them. Push the 3 supports into the cake and push the board into place. Renshaw's Bottle Green is a nice deep colour. Flatten this into an oval shape and squeeze it into an almost cloud shape. It really doesn't matter what shape it turns out. Stick this to the top of the branches with water and take a star piping tip. Press the tip into the paste and kind of twist and pull to make a fluffy texture. Keep going all over the paste whilst it's soft. Go all around the cake, filling up the branches. You can alternate different greens too. Add another branch to the left of the backing board. The foam core comes in handy here, as you can insert some cocktail sticks to support some taller branches. Texture it and add in a hole at the front of the tree. A smaller tree on the other side helps balance the design. An optional step is to take some black metallic paint by Rainbow Dust and paint on some spider webs in the woodland to show Aragog might be close by. I also cut the age out from the same font and added this to the backboard. The bodies are made from dumpy teardrop shapes cut flat across the bottom. Make 3 of these and huddle them in front of Hogwarts. Score a line up the centre. The heads are balls of flesh paste with a slightly smaller ball of polystyrene to help take some of the weight and keep them round. Push the ball into the paste and tease it up around it until you can smooth it closed. Roll it between your hands to get rid of lumps and creases. Push a cocktail stick into the centre and then attach it down into the body. Roll out a small disc of white paste, keeping it quite chunky. Trim this down into a small rectangle. Then roll out some dark brown paste much thinner into a long rectangle. Place the white shape on top and trim it across, leaving a few millimetres border. Fold over the rectangle and you'll see a book starting to take shape. Trim the excess and then score the white rectangle to create pages. Whilst we have the brown, we're going to roll a small thin tapered sausage. Cut this down to create a wand and put them both to one side. Dampen the heads with water. For Harry, I've got a circle of very dark brown. You want to stick this to the back of his head and pull the excess towards the top so it creates a point. This can then be snipped off with scissors. For his messy hair, apply flattened soft triangles as points on his fringe. Small little spikes added to the crown add to the cute messy look. Ron starts as an orange circle to the back of the head. Then 2 large flat teardrop shapes meeting at the top of the head and textured into little points. Hermione's hair is an arch shape in a lighter brown. Wrap this around the back of her head and then trim the excess. Before adding the rest, she needs arms for the hair to fall over. Apply the book to the front of the body and a small ball of flesh colour for a hand. The sleeve is a black sausage that's slightly fatter at one end. Apply the fatter end to the hand and the slimmer part to the body. Another flesh ball on the left for another hand and the same sleeve. Now we can add the hair. A flattened sausage with some wavy texture through it should do the job. Add one to either side of her head and then join it with a smaller sausage for a fringe. Add Ron's hands in the same way, but this time adding the wand to the left side. You can also pop one of Harry's arms on for now. For the scarves, roll out strings of red paste and cut them down into separate pieces. It doesn't matter too much about the size. Then do the same in yellow. Start to lay the strings together, alternating the colours. Roll gently along the sausages with the rolling pin to flatten them together. I then passed it through the pasta machine. Just trim off any bits and then cut clean long strips. You've made tiny Gryffindor scarves. Wrap them around Harry and Ron, fraying the edges with a scalpel. Add Hermione's in between her hair. For the broom, roll a pointed teardrop and texture it. Stick it with water to the left of Harry and push a cocktail stick down into the cake. Trim the pointed top. Roll out a small thin strip at the same colour and wrap it around the stick. Trim the excess with scissors. A thin yellow string adds detail to the bottom of the broom. Add on Harry's hand and sleeve holding onto the handle. Now for the faces. First, draw on Harry's glasses. I'm painting it on with a fine paintbrush. With watered down red gel colour, add on his famous scar. Small black balls of paste go inside the glasses for pupils. Don't forget Hermione and Ron too. Ron always either looks scared or confused, so I drew his mouth in an almost sideways comma shape. A round dot followed by a flick over to the right. Draw on everyone's eyebrows and smiley mouths. Lastly, add the catchlights. I make them from balls of white paste, but you can paint them on if you prefer. Dobby is done in the exact same way, he just has big pointy ears. His head, smile and eyes are identical, and his body is just bent in half in a pale grey/cream colour. The last details are always the scenery fillers. Grass is made by clustering 3 tapered sausages together and cutting them flat. Add these all around the board and the cake. Cartoony rocks are made from grey paste, just pinched in various formations. Finish off with a bit of shading with the airbrush around the board, swirls on the treetops, the rocks and grass and bases of the figures. And we're done, a cute and easy Harry Potter cake for any hardcore fan. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please share it with your favourite Harry Potter fan. There's always at least one in every family. You can even add the birthday girl or boy as a figure like I did here. Thanks guys, see you next week.